now joining us, hometown hero from ESPN. There he is, the one, the only, Kevin Negandhi. Kev!
Man, you got me starving at 10 a.m. I want a turkey Diablo or a chicken cutlet. Like, come on. And listen, we don't got Primos in Connecticut, man. Come on.
I heard. You know what's funny? I was talking to them, and they're expanding nationwide now, right? And I told them that they should hit Connecticut, and I specifically said right by the campus because there's not a lot there. Like, the cafeteria is good, but there's not a lot there, right?
No.
Primo's would kill it
a little bit, but there's no like cool hoagie place. Like, ain't nobody going to Subway. There's no cool hoagie place.
Exactly. We might have to get it to Kevin Negandhi Primos in Connecticut.
Yeah. Hey, Ant, don't hesitate. Don't tease me. Sign me up. We'll talk.
So the schedule's out. Isn't it? Do you get as giddy as I do as a loser? But you and I are kind of you and I have always been the cut from the same cloth, brother from another mother.
Yeah. So I hosted the schedule release show last night with Schefter, Mina Kimes, Marcus Spears, and Dan Orlovsky. We had a lot of fun. One of the things that I really enjoyed, we didn't do the low-hanging fruit of wins, losses. But I will tell you, when you look at the Eagles' schedule, a few things stood out. There's two ruts. It's not the gauntlet that we saw last year. The one thing that stood out is no 1 p.m. games for the Eagles tailgates in September because, there's nothing better than the weather's great. You're there Sunday morning for the 1 p.m. kick and it's sunny out. You could really still enjoy the fall as you're getting ready for a playoff run for the Phillies team. And then you only see one October 13th. And then the next one, the next home 1 o'clock game is in December. And it's against the Panthers, right? So the final 6 games, you're in the Northeast. You don't need to do a lot of traveling. That's great. That sets up for them. The one, and we had leaks, of course, and we knew about it. The thing that stands out is giving up a home game against the Packers. That is a critical game to start the season, and you're in South America with 2 new coordinators coming in after getting the collapse. You want to wipe that bad taste out of your mouth. A home game in a national environment with Jordan Love coming in sets the tone, right? And it's a little bit different. Now, they get the Monday night game. They get like a mini bye as well with the Falcons coming into town. But you lose the opportunity to say, all right, Jordan Love playing this environment. A couple years ago, we had Aaron Rodgers. I was at that game. Rodgers got hurt. Love came in for mop-up duty in the final quarter. And the environment was electric against the Packers. We're going to miss that. It's not going to be favoring the Eagles. Who knows? In South America, it just won't have that South Philly flavor. Who knows how that crowd's going to be in Brazil as we test these coordinators out. And I want to see how we respond.
And Green Bay is good. Their offense, it's amazing how they found all those receivers, right? Like, include Musgrave, tight end, in that group. I mean, they're good. Yeah. I mean, they go 4 deep at wide, and they're all young. Really, 5 deep.
Yeah, that's a great point. And to your point about Green Bay historically, I know much has been made, especially on the back end of Aaron Rodgers' Packers career, that they never used a first-round pick on a wide receiver. They do such a great job developing guys and finding guys day 2, day 3 within a year or two in a system. And that's going all the way back to Donald Driver, right? Like, you can go back, Antonio Freeman, where they develop guys for 2 decades who are day 2, day 3 picks, and they find, like, Wicks is a phenomenal find, and he's your number 3 guy on this team when it comes to wide receivers. So I think it's a great point, and our secondary will be tested out the gate.
Yeah, and then the only other trouble spot, though, is that Rams-Ravens back-to-back. I mean, that's a tough – Baltimore's legit. I thought Lamar's taking his game to that ridiculous level. and then you have a tough one. If Stafford's healthy, Rams are really good.
Yeah, you're right. I was surprised too that they didn't put Giants Eagles prime time, that first game at MetLife in October 20th. It's a 1 p.m. kick. I was stunned by that as well.
I mean, the Barkley game. I mean, they're right on top of that.
And it makes me think. Not knowing, it just makes me think the schedule makers are thinking, October, we're going to see a lot of Phillies in prime time. So we're not going to put that game on prime time on the weekend.
That's a great point. No, you're spot on there. What else kind of stands out? Like having the week 5 bye for them is not advantageous. I usually like it a little bit later on, but you couple that with all the home games to end the season.
Yeah, you know what stands out? Again, I started the conversation with you saying I'm not a win-loss. Hey, win-loss. This just feels like a 12-win schedule, right? It feels like, hey, no matter what, they can win 12 games. I caution us by saying this in May because not one person would have predicted a collapse and losing to Arizona and New York in December when all they had to do was win those 2 games to get the 1 seed. But to me, we'll learn a hell of a lot out the gate against the Packers and Falcons. We'll learn a heck of a lot in those first 4 games before the bye because you then travel to New Orleans and then the Bucs. And after the Bucs embarrassed us, and now you got to go back to Tampa and deal with that. I'll be curious about that first 4 games out the gate. That Browns defense is going to be phenomenal. Who knows what they're going to get from Deshaun Watson. If you keep on going, Joe Burrow, will he be playing in late October? We haven't seen Joe Burrow healthy in quite some time. When he's healthy, it's a completely different team. That little run there where they got the Bengals on the road. Who knows what we're going to get with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. And then you got the Cowboys, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't know about Joe Burrow. You don't know about Lawrence. The Cowboys. It's really bizarre.
It is. It's choppy. You know what it is? It's choppy. But I will take, Ant, a choppy schedule over last year's experience.
Oh, yes.
And right now, last night when the schedule came out, I was like, my goodness, what are Steeler fans going to look at the final 2 months, guys? Like, I don't mean to sidetrack, but we went through the gauntlet last year. The Steelers gauntlet in the final 8 games, they faced all 6 division opponents. All of them are playoff contenders. And the other 2 outside the division are the Eagles and the Chiefs. Yeah. And in an 11-day stretch, Steeler fans have to experience the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Chiefs in an 11-day stretch. So let's just be thankful that the Eagles are not experiencing what they had to go through last year to this year when you see the schedule.
I mean, that is completely – I mean, you think about that. And it's so not fair because it really isn't. Like, you look at that Steelers team, and they're excited in Pittsburgh, right? Like, I think they're a good team, and they're growing and the whole thing. They're building, I mean. And that 3-game stretch is a death knell.
And who knows who's going to be quarterback at that time, right? It's like who's standing up because you start the season with question marks about, hey, is it going to be Fields or Wilson? My whole thing was who's going to finish the season, especially in that 11-day stretch and those final 8 games. Because we all know the AFC North is such a brutal division. We all know how physically taxing it is. And then you have to deal with 6 of those opponents in your final 8 games, and then you can't catch a breather because you have the Eagles and the Chiefs. I mean, good luck, Mike Tomlin. Good luck in trying to figure that out.
Incredible.
And with a winning record.
It's just incredible. It really is. It's incredible. How about we were talking about this, the NFL and Christmas. So a buddy of mine goes, my buddy Boo says, I don't need the NFL on a Christmas Day Wednesday. And I go, heresy. I want football and I love football and Christmas. It goes together.
It does. And the NFL said, we don't care. We're going to make this our holiday. It doesn't matter what's playing 5 NBA games. We're going to do whatever we want to do. And they continue to do it. And they move the needle. And now you got to go to Netflix. And it's really impressive what they continue to do. They've got 2 good matchups. and they dominate. The NFL's king, man. The NFL, no doubt, understands the game, and they play by their rules the entire time. The idea that we've got a Thursday night game, a Friday night game, obviously Saturday, that first weekend is all college football, and our ABC lineup is stacked that Saturday. Then you got no, wait, sorry. That was the week before. But like the whole point is that the NFL understands that they can run the entire Labor Day weekend, and the week going into their schedule, they can do whatever they want. Like it's like, all right, you're gonna get your college football fix. And then once Labor Day's done, we're going right into doing whatever we want. We're going to run things, and that's what the NFL can do.
Hey, speaking of college football, just a quick aside, because I'll get back to the NFL schedule, but you got me thinking, because I love two things. I love Labor Day. I love college football owning Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
I also love Week 0. I think they need to expand Week 0 and make it more of a thing. Like, you have all those schools, you have all that inventory. You can easily make Week 0 something special.
I think you're going to see that more and more as the one weekend is, of course, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday night, right, for college football in Week 1. I think you're going to start seeing more Week 0 matchups. I mean, we're seeing, games played overseas, right?
Yeah.
Week 0. I also think the biggest fear, because one thing about college football is tradition. Now, we've seen tradition being bucked and rivalries dying because everybody's moving around. But usually these early games, they don't have a preseason. They want to rev up, right? So sometimes you don't see a lot of marquee matchups in Week 0 because they want to rev up. They want to get hey, let's make sure we can get on track here. But now with playoff expansion, if you want to have that marquee matchup in Week 0, you can have that and afford to have a loss or two, and you're still going to be in the playoff conversation, right? I think it opens the door with playoff expansion. You're going to see more marquee matchups potentially in Week 0 pushed up as this continues to grow with the sport.
Yeah, and it's interesting because what I would do is I would have you have the great Saturday, but I would move that Sunday. I would have a 1 o'clock, a 4 o'clock, a prime time, and Monday Labor Day I would have a 1 o'clock, a 4 o'clock, and a prime time. Now I know they have prime times on Sunday and Monday, but I would add the premier 1 and 4, and then you have two after the big Saturday. You got 3 games Sunday, 3 games Monday.
I think sometimes the fear, and now we're seeing schools start way early, right? I think sometimes the fear with a Week 0 lineup, or like you just mentioned, Labor Day weekend lineup, is that it's still the last chance to be outside. It's the last chance to enjoy summer. And that's why you have the primetime games on Sunday night. You have the primetime game on Monday night because people are coming back indoors and settling down after being out all day and enjoying the final weekend before the school year kicks in. Not just for college. It's for, obviously, from grades, kindergarten to 12th grade. We experienced that, right? It's like it's enjoying the final weekend. I can't do that.
I was thinking about Christmas. When we were kids, right? I was thinking about Christmas Day. Christmas Day, and this was like pre-NBA, right?
Yeah.
The only sports that were on was like the Hula Bowl or like Mississippi State.
Egg Bowl, right? Yeah, that's the Thanksgiving. But no.
Oh, wait, that was Thanksgiving.
Right?
Wait, that's Thanksgiving. I'm blending my holidays. That was Thanksgiving. But Christmas
was the Hula Bowl.
Was the Hula Bowl. There was there was never any games.
Yeah, you'd have maybe the Holiday Bowl. You'd have a couple of different.
Maybe
that was it. And for the NFL to just say, hey, "This is our inventory. We're gonna do whatever we want on that day," and then signing a 3-year deal with Netflix. Again, they're king. They are king. And guess what? No matter what we say, we will watch. No matter.
Listen, I make no pretense about it. No, I mean, stop. Well, of course we're going to watch. And nowadays, like I believe that because sports TV is so unique that it's the only place where commercials are viable, where you're going to watch. You'll sit there, you may click, but you're going to catch some commercials because you're watching the game. And the idea of devices everywhere, like I could watch the game on my phone, on my tablet, and anywhere I could be on the beach, I'll get a signal and I can watch the game on the beach. Like nowadays, you consume it everywhere.
Yeah.
So, have at it.
There. And the accessibility is there. And I hear you on that. And I was stunned. I got to admit, I was stunned that there were only 2 games on Christmas Day. I was waiting for the triple header, like we see at Thanksgiving now, and now they have Black Friday. Like I was waiting. I was waiting for a triple header coming. But like you made a point. We may see that down the road. It's on a Wednesday, so just 2 games. All right, they found a way to play on a Wednesday night.
So can they do? Here's the thing I like too. Although I wish they staggered it more. I think there's 4 or 5 Monday night doubleheaders.
There is, 4, I think. Yep.
Yeah. I like it better when the times are staggered, so you can do 7 and 10. So I guess the time's now like 8:15 and 9 or whatever. What's the thought process behind that? Are you going to be involved in any of that stuff?
I'll be doing no. You know what? As of right now, I enjoy my Mondays off since I work Saturdays. I completely enjoy my Mondays off. It gives me the chance to be at home with the kids and be somewhat normal on a school night.
Yeah.
So I get to sit back and relax. And it's cool for me because if there's a Sunday game I want to go to, I can go anywhere and then come back.
Travel,
and
get back in time.
Or if there's a Monday night game, I've got time to go to a game and then come back. So as of right now, I'm not scheduled to do anything on Monday in the fall. Of course, that could change.
Yeah, I listen. I love the doubleheader. I think it's a great idea.
Same here.
I could see them doing 2 regular Tuesday night games too. Once you add another week, and it's 18 games, and you'll have 20 weeks with double bye, so you have a first half bye and a second half bye. There's enough off days so you could stagger the games and not have and play Tuesday night.
And none of that will surprise me. As they continue, none of that will surprise. Tuesday's the only one. If they're playing Wednesday, we already know they play Thursday. They play Black Friday. We see Saturdays, in December. Tuesday's the last one, man. Move to the side, Maction. The NFL's coming. It's eventually going to happen. Don't be surprised, like you said, with the expansion of 18 games down the road.
All right, before we get out of here, I got to bring this up. 31 and 13.
Wow.
Dude,
Wow.
Dude, they don't lose. The fighting Phillies don't lose.
And we haven't seen the best of this team, which is amazing. And it's a built-in thing. Like, just think about the last 2 wins. Like, Nola going 9. And you got Bryce dealing with the migraine, so they have 4 different fielders in different positions. They all hold up. They figure out a way. They rest the bullpen. Then Suarez comes in. Bryce is back, and they're like, we got to carry Suarez a little bit. They don't lose, and they beat inferior teams, right? Because the last few years, the frustration is the mucking and the grinding with these inferior teams, and they just shut the door and they just say, we're moving on. I love everything about this team. The depth is important. Taking all these innings by the starters is really important because you're going to need that bullpen on the back end, and we still haven't seen the best of this team yet. It's amazing, and it's fun. Just lean into it.
You're so right. Like, do we talk about June and Schwarber and the hot weather? Like, it's been cold and rainy here, for most of May. At some point next week, I think it's going to get into the 80s. It'll kick in, and the ball will fly. The thing that's been, to me, the biggest, the most impressive part of this team is that rotation. That rotation is ridiculous. I mean, Ranger doesn't have his best stuff yesterday. Guts out 5 innings, only gives up 2 runs. But his ERA is now down to 1.37. He's 8-0. Nola, you mentioned earlier. I mean, are you kidding me with this rotation?
Yeah, Wheeler wasn't happy about his one performance. He comes back and he's nasty. Like, they all respond. And the best part of this, Ant, we haven't hit a skid. Like, there's no back-to-back losses. It's next day, let's fix it, let's move on, right? And I love that business-like machine approach that this team has, which is great right now. You just accumulate these wins. You're going to hit – it's the dog days of summer. You're going to hit a rut somehow, some way. Let's just get ready for it in July and August. That's okay, though. They're not playing with a lot of pressure, and they're just winning games, and that stuff's going to pay off down the road. So it's been really enjoyable, man. Just lean into it and enjoy it while we can, and it's just saving those arms. I love the depth that they have. And the other small thing, too, all right, the young boys, they're all growing up right before our eyes.
Yeah.
Stott and Bohm, there are no question marks anymore about them. It's, hey, we need you guys to carry us right now. We don't have JT. We don't have Bryce in the lineup for a couple of days. Got it. They figure it out, right? The maturity that we're seeing and the growth that we're seeing with the team is I'm loving it, man. Like, and it's just fun. It's just fun to beat teams that they should be beating every single day.
It's awesome. My brother, bless the family, all right?
Much
God
love,
bless
bro.
them, the boys, and your beautiful wife. So, and your beautiful daughter. Love you, brother. You're the best.
Thank you, my man. Talk to you next week.
You got it. The great Kevin Negandhi.
We all silly like the mayor.